Can you see me all right?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in this week for another Powwow Life show. Looks like we've already got several people online. We appreciate you tuning in this week. We've got a special guest with us this week, so please post your questions or comments in there, and you'll be able to watch and chat live. This week we've got Darren Thompson, who is a renowned native artist, with us. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of his music, his inspiration, and maybe even listen to a couple more tunes of his. You were listening to his there in a minute ago while we were getting started. I got to see him perform live this last April in Albuquerque at the Gathering of Nations Powwow, and it was amazing. Always love hearing flute music, and it was a great way. He performed first thing one of the days there, and it was a great way to kind of set the mood, get everybody relaxed and in the mood for a great weekend. So let's see, we'll bring him on now. All right, Darren, thanks for being here.
Hello, thanks for having me, Paul. Excited to be on PowWows.com, a avid follower and contributor, of course. So thank you again. It's an honor.
Yeah, it's great. If folks out there not aware, you have written a couple things for us and helped us out on the site. So we'll definitely post some links to that. I hope everybody goes out there and takes a look at some of the things you've written. I mean, not only are you a renowned musician, but you're a very talented writer and educator. So we'll talk about all that too. I guess we'll start off with you if you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and I guess a little bit about your music. Wow. Oh, hold on just a second. I think I have lost sound somehow. Let me make sure. Sorry, everybody. Try it now. Can everybody hear now? I think I've lost your sound. Everybody, everybody can hear me. I can hear you, but it's not going out online. Hold on. Why are you not going out? So, can everybody hear Darren? Say hello there. Nope. All right, hold on. Give me a second, everybody. Sorry. Try it now. No, they can't. Wait a minute. Now try it.
All right, hello.
All right. Can everybody hear him now? See if the comments come in.
Alrighty.
Say hello again.
Hello, everybody. My name is Darren Thompson. I'm here with PowWows.com.
I think we're good now.
Can you hear me?
It looks like it.
Yeah, so I'm just here giving you a little bit of my time, sharing some of my summer. It's very exciting. Again, I'm from northern Wisconsin, from the Lac du Flambeau Band of Ojibwe, which is about 1,000 miles away from where I currently am. I live and reside in the Black Hills in Rapid City. I'm out here as a full-time musician. I am one of the main performers at the Crazy Horse Memorial. And starting this very next week, I will be the opening act for the popular band out this way known as Brûlé. So I'm very excited about that. This month alone, I will have over 60 performances. Several of them are at the National Park System here in the Badlands, as well as the Agate Fossil Beds National Park, which is in Nebraska. So very, very busy. Excited to share some of this journey with you all, and thank you again, Paul.
Yeah, we really appreciate you being here. I mean, that schedule sounds crazy. I'm not sure how you're still awake right now. Well, tell everybody, how did you get started? When did you start learning the flute, and how did this kind of come about?
Yeah, absolutely. I started as a younger man than I am now. I was actually about 18, 19 years old. I was going to Marquette University, which is in Milwaukee. And, my college experience was just reading and writing, and that's it. And I don't know about you, but I, don't particularly get thrilled to read hundreds upon hundreds of pages of material. So I needed something to help me focus on studying, and I started listening to some classic Carlos Nakai and some Brian Akipa and some Kevin Locke, and started to really enjoy it to a point where I wanted to know a little bit more about the artist as well as their inspirations. And lo and behold, I started kind of knowing more than I expected to know, and attended the Indian Summer Festival, which was very widely attended back in my day, and picked up a flute and just kind of went with it. Slowly started to learn about it, slowly started to play it, and before I knew it, I was performing at colleges and events throughout basically the Great Lakes area, and I kind of just loved my experience and loved the people that I met, and kept with it and just kept with it. And 13 years later, I'm now a small business owner where I provide services, which is basically my performance as well as my teaching as well as products. So I sell music, so it's a fun learning experience, and I'm at the point now where I can teach about the craft, about the industry, to anyone really willing to learn about it. So that's it in a nutshell, I guess.
Cool. And you mentioned a couple of your inspirations there, Carlos and some of the other guys. When you sit down to write some of your music, where is it you get the inspiration for some of these songs?
Really, honestly, I listen to a lot of the songs composed today on the Powwow Trail, as well as go into archives and collections and listen to these very old recordings done by a lady named Frances Densmore, who is an ethnomusicologist, who recorded dozens and dozens of songs and dances back in the late 1800s and early 1900s, where I listen and try to pick up on these melodies and try to reintroduce them in a way and kind of make them my own, put my own signature to them. So there's kind of both historical research as well as I guess modern or contemporary work that I put into my sound.
Yeah. So you don't just go to the store and buy some sheet music for that?
No, I actually don't. I don't read music, so I have to do everything by ear, and that's a struggle, I guess. But it's what many other people I know do and have done for many years. So
right. All right, everybody, we appreciate you putting in the comments. If you have any questions, be sure to type them in there. We've got some people. Sandra Chavez from Albuquerque, she says hello. Annette is looking, kind of wants to know what type of music are you doing? I guess what styles of flute are you doing? And sure. Maybe even have a couple of questions about your marital status here.
Sure. Well, I do a lot of historical work. So right now I'm going, well, not currently, I'm performing right now, but what I do in my off season, if you will, is I go into museums and collections and take measurements off items that are older than probably our grandparents are alive, unless they've been born in the 1800s. But right now I'm very interested in these older styles of instruments. So I'm working on some Hopi instruments, some Kiowa instruments, some Tohono O'odham instruments, as well as some Pueblo instruments, which have very little recording documentation. So in a sense, I'm definitely reintroducing some very old flute styles. Some other traditions that are well known, of course, are the upper plains, like the Cree and the Lakota people, and kind of really differentiating between the two during my set. So that's really one of the main issues, and a lot of work. How do I make songs? How do I find them? And that's really a challenge. So in a way, I'm just kind of playing through the scale and liking and listening to what I like to hear. So essentially, I'm really reinventing myself through these instruments, as well as reinventing the actual genre, if you will. And that's one of the things that I strive to do, is how can I contribute and take this genre or this style of music to another level. So hopefully I can find the answers to that as I'm along this journey. So yeah.
That's really cool. The historical aspect's really interesting. I kind of want to hear some of these the sounds now that you're going to create from some of these old ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
They're kind of challenging too to record with. I need somebody who really works well with sound, who really understands it. And fortunately, I've met a very nice man. I came out this way to the Black Hills to help produce a film titled Neither Wolf Nor Dog, which is being shopped around right now in film festivals overseas. But the sound guy on the film was somebody who was very confident in introducing himself by saying, I have built a life with sound and sound engineering. Now, when I hear something like that, particularly my instrument is pretty simple. It's just one instrument. So we need to find a very interesting, soundproof space, if you will. And I like to think of myself as recording on location. So it's a lot of fun. Believe it or not, we both enjoy this, and somebody I work really well with. So yeah.
Awesome. You got a couple of comments here. Chris is from Lone Rock, Wisconsin. So you got another person from your state there, and somebody from Tennessee is listening. Diana. Appreciate y'all listening in. Let's see if I can play a bit of your music here for a second and let people hear this. All right. Hopefully everybody can hear that. This is off of your Between Earth and Sky album, which I think is available through Canyon Records. Is that correct?
No, that's actually done with Drum Hop Productions.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. And
sorry, Rusty will be upset with me.
oh no, it's all good. And that's done with Rusty Gillette, and did the designing, and it's just a great product that I've been having a lot of difficulty keeping in stock, which I guess is a good problem to have. But right now I'm kind of in the running right now for Artist of the Year, Album of the Year, Historical Recording of the Year, and Native American Flute Album. So when voting begins, I hope to be able to share that with some people, and hopefully I can make a nice little run with that. But
yeah, we'll definitely make sure we share that. That's awesome. So tell us about the song we're listening to here. Is there a story behind it, or how you came up with this one?
Sure. I'm not sure if I can hear anything yet.
Oh, you might not be able to hear it. It's Between Earth and Sky. It's one of the ones on YouTube.
Okay. Do you know the title of it?
Yeah, I don't see a title. Sorry.
It could be the title Between Earth and Sky. If it is such, that is done with a historical instrument that dates back at least 1,200 years. So how that was recreated was, again, by measurements and finding somebody. I'm not as good as a craftsman as I am a performer or a player of the instrument. So learning how to play this particular instrument took, I would say, a few years, 3 or 4 years, before I became very comfortable with playing it in front of other people. It doesn't play particularly like other flutes, and I'll show you what I mean by other flutes. So the Native American flutes that people are familiar with today have this top design on it. So what happens is I blow into this piece, air will travel this way and exit about where this fringe is, and exit right out here, which is a small hole. So this is where the noise comes from. This other particular instrument does not have the top piece, so I have to do an embouchure where my lips contribute to the noise, which is very common among many other wind instruments throughout the world. So learning it was very challenging. When I'm playing it, there are two different sounds that are happening. There's actually the vibration of the flute, as well as my breath exiting the instruments. So there's kind of, two very interesting things going on. So the song, I pretty much just created a melody based upon what I like to hear, and I was just very haunted by kind of a song that I was able to make from a very, very old instrument, and kind of just went with it and continued to contribute to the development of it and put it out when we did the recording. So that's pretty much kind of the story. It's kind of my own story, but I put it into the recording and hope people enjoy it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Getting a lot of great comments. People really enjoying that. So I know you teach a lot too. For anybody out there that's would love to pick up the flute and start playing it, any advice, any tips for them to get started?
Really, it's going to take some time. If you read music, forget that you read music, because particularly this instrument is not tuned exactly to the Western scale. So that is a big challenge in itself in approaching music very differently, very personally, and you would develop your own style, and how you want to hear the music is really how you'll put yourself into the instrument. I'll tell you the story that I heard, and maybe this will help, that I heard from a Menominee man some years ago. The Menominee people are from the state of Wisconsin, not too far from where I'm from. But the story goes, a young boy had a flute, and he wanted to learn how to play it, like we all do when we first get the instrument. And he asked his grandfather, Grandpa, I want to get really good at playing this flute. What do I do? And the grandfather instructed his grandson to go make friends with his flute. And so what he ended up doing was going to his friends and trying to play the flute. And he kind of chased away all his buddies, and he was laughed and ridiculed at. And he went back to his grandfather and said, "Grandpa, I went to, try to make friends with my flute, and everybody laughed at me. And he rephrased, you know, his enunciation and said, "No, go make friends with your flute, with the actual flute itself." And so he changed his approach and just kind of went with that. So kind of keep that in mind, and you'll have to develop a very close personal relationship with the instrument, and really just listen to everything you can. Of course, visit my website. I can help you out with some pointers, and that's DarrenThompson.net. So that's a nice little preview. Another thing too that I'll definitely give some little coaching on is most instruments have 6 holes here, and the most difficult note is to play with all the finger holes covered, okay? And often you'll hear a squeak when you learn, and what you'll do is keep blowing into the flute and slowly lift one finger up, and when you get that pure note, whatever last finger you picked up, that is the open hole. So that is a very tricky part. So often I will have sometimes I'll have a very slight opening here, and if all the other holes are covered and I have this tiny little hole, that will make a change in the sound of the instrument. So that's there you go.
Cool. All right, well, since you have it in your hand, do you think you could give us a little something to hear live?
Sure, yeah. I can play a snippet of an old song that belongs to my people, the Ojibwe people. So I just received this flute in the mail yesterday. It's my signature flute. It is modeled after an old crane flute. So the word for crane in Ojibwe is pronounced Ajajak. And those from the Crane clan, which I'm not from, I'm from the Bear clan, are traditionally those belonging to the leadership or the chieftainship clan. And there are some guidelines and some rules that you can definitely learn from the crane while being out, and that is a crane will very rarely speak or will very rarely open its breath or open its beak to communicate. And when it does, it's usually for a very good reason, and that's usually if there's an intruder or something to alarm its fellow beings in its area. So with that, you know, I try to tell this story, but I'll play this song. It's a very simple song. It's very simple notes that belong to it, but this song repeats itself over 4 times, which many songs do still to this day. So So that's the first verse, and that just continues to repeat itself over and over, which is an older style. Many people that play today will just kind of play endlessly, and that's one of the fun things about this particular instrument is that you can play endlessly. So there you go.
Thank you. That was beautiful. All right, so you mentioned your website, DarrenThompson.net. Where else can people go to find your music, and what's available out there for you?
Sure. A lot of people can access my music, how other people access music, which is some of the logos behind me. You have Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Play, iTunes, of course, my website. You can also get them through drumhop.net. There are many distributors on the Powwow Trail, if you will, that also sell my music. Other than that, you can randomly stop through any national park system and hopefully pick up an album through there, wherever you are. Hopefully they're there, but otherwise, that's pretty much it. So I keep it simple.
And where I know you'll be performing out there for a while, but where else can people see you here in the next few months?
Sure. This September, I will be performing at the Black Hills Unity Concert, which is in my area, but it's a growing event. It's a very well-known event, and that takes place between July 9th through the 11th. I actually have to fly out to Seattle, Washington on September 11th to perform at the 2016 American Indian Alaska Native Tourism Association conference, which takes place in Tulalip, Washington. I know that's a mouthful. This late October, I will also be at the Heard Museum, where I'll hopefully get some nice attendance and some coverage from Native Peoples Magazine, which I will also be contributing to later on this year when my schedule opens up a little bit. I will also be down in Florida in December, as well as in the Twin Cities area this November, as well as the National Music Museum, which is in Vermilion, South Dakota. I know that's where I am right now, but that is 350 miles away from where I am right now. So where else that might, where I might show up, we shall see. But this late this month, early next month, I'll be on the History Channel with Ozzy Osbourne on a new upcoming show called Ozzy Osbourne's World Detour. So maybe you can tune into that and kind of see that funny interaction between me and Ozzy and his son Jack. But yeah, there we go. I will not be able to attend, of course, the Native American Music Awards because I'm under contract with Crazy Horse until the middle of October, and that's a commitment that I'm very dedicated to. So I will be busy there. I still have about 100 performances memorial until then. So, yeah.
That is a schedule. Wow. All right. So, Ozzy, now you got to tell us what's this about. You're going to be on a show with Ozzy?
Sure. Yeah. So last October, I was the artist in residence at the Crazy Horse Memorial. So they have an artist in residence program where people with all mediums can practice their art form and sell their craft. And I was actually the first non-traditional artist there. So non-traditional means things that you can't see. So painting, drawing, beading, regalia, those are considered traditional art forms. And my art form is something that you use another sense, and that is to hear. So I was there performing, and they gave me one instruction while I was there, and that was be here on October 21st. So I had planned on being there every day, any chance I get to share my art. I'm pretty much there. So I had planned on being there anyway. I show up that morning and they let me know that Ozzy Osbourne and his son Jack were going to be doing a television recording with the History Channel, and they wanted to feature the Artist in Residence program. So the first thing they did when they walked in the door was they actually came up to me with about 20 people and several cameras behind me, and we talked, and I, introduced myself and showed them how the instrument makes noise and what's unique about it, how long it's been around, and he actually picked an instrument up, and it was pretty cool. They picked up an album of mine and played it during their travels throughout South Dakota, so I had to sign some release forms for that. So that's kind of sums it up in a nutshell, if you will. But, there was a conversation that existed between us three, and that includes, my name, where I'm from, the things that I do, and stuff like that. And was quite an experience, I'll say that much. So
that's very cool. That's an interesting exchange between very different music styles. Cool. Couple of comments here. Let's see. Jonathan Bald Eagle.
Oh, right on. I know John. I met John at the Black Hills Film Festival. I want to say, was it 2015? Yeah, early 2015. His grandfather, David Bald Eagle, is the main actor and highlight of the film that I worked on called Neither Wolf Nor Dog. He's still alive. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he's 97 years old, and that was quite an experience to work with him on the film. So, hello, John. How you doing?
Cool. And Alice is enjoying the music. It's very relaxing. She's from Northern California, so hoping that you'll come up that way at some point.
Actually, yeah, I got invited to perform at the Redwood National Forest, and we need to solidify the dates for that. But, we're looking at late October, maybe early November, and that's the big challenge is I'm unavailable until later this year. So maybe we can book next year, but nonetheless, it's a lot of fun.
All right, and one more time. So tell everybody where you are till October, because I know people are planning their summer trip still. So where can we go see you?
Sure. I am up at the Crazy Horse Memorial, which is intending to be the world's largest monument here in the Black Hills. I would say it's about 37 miles just outside south of Rapid City, South Dakota. I will be up there every Tuesday and then every 3 weekends from Friday through Tuesday, 3 times a day. And when I'm there, that is 18 performances. So during that time, I eat, sleep, and perform. That is all I do. You can tune into my schedule at DarrenThompson.net to, try to pinpoint me and where exactly I will be. So.
All right, so anybody heading up that way, make sure you stop in, tell him hello, and check out some of his performances. All right, Darren, we really appreciate you coming on tonight. I think everybody's enjoyed the music and learning a little bit more about you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, right on. Thanks for having me again, Paul, anytime. If not, stay tuned to some of the articles. I'm actually working on a few right now. So when I don't perform, I contribute to the wonderful world of PowWows.com and Indian Country Today and Indian Country itself. So thank you again. It's been an honor.
Cool. Thanks so much. We appreciate you joining us. We'll
right,
talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for visiting with us tonight. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope to bring you some more interviews. Look forward to bringing you some more shows like that. If you want to see more of this, please remember to follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our newsletter, and those are the 2 best ways to keep up with what's going on. We are our interview for next week. We're looking at interviewing Brent from IndianSports.com. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the Native Americans to watch in the Olympics. Some of the last Olympic trials will be going on this weekend for the U.S. and maybe some from Canada going as well. So we'll get you up to date so who you can watch in the upcoming Rio Olympics. But again, thanks everybody for participating tonight. I hope you enjoyed the music and play a little bit more here as we close out the show. Thanks everybody. We really enjoyed bringing you that interview, and we'll see you next week. What you're seeing now is Darren's performance at this year's Gathering of Nations powwow. Remember to check out his music at DarrenThompson.net or on iTunes or Google Play. Appreciate you sending in the comments, everybody. Still seeing comments and questions coming in. Chris, we did interview, or actually we had Tanya Johal doing interviews for us at our last webcast up in Winnipeg, Manitowoc. Make sure you go on PowWows.com, check out some of the interviews she did. She did some Facebook Live interviews as well as some recorded interviews. So we'll try to maybe get her back on and do a live interview with her as well. again, thanks everybody. Appreciate you you supporting us. Remember to subscribe to our newsletter so you can keep up to date with all the happenings going on. Like us on Facebook, and please be sure to share this with all your friends. Let's make sure we get the word out for our new live shows that we'll be doing each week. Thanks everybody. We'll see you down the trail.